So in this video, I want to take a look at the simple queue node that we're going to be using in the upcoming lab. I want to make sure that everyone understands it because it's a central linchpin to our sprinkler system and the logic in our sprinkler system. So let me first explain how it works. As the name indicates, it is a queue, so it queues items up, it puts items in line to be released later. So it follows a first in, first out principle. The first item you put in will be at the front of the line, the second will be second in line, third will be third in line, and they'll be released in that order, from the first to the second to the third. And the queue doesn't change the order of those objects, it keeps them in the order that they were received. And we use this node, this simple queue node, to store objects to be used later. You can kind of think of it as water in a pipe, and we put water in, it comes out the other end, and we can open and close the pipe to release water. And so these messages will be stored in the queue until they are taken out with certain commands that we're going to take a look at. They will stay in that queue and not be released until we tell them to be released. So let's take a look at a little sample flow here. And what I have is a queue, a debug node, and I'm sending messages into that queue. And we're going to take a look at these commands. So let's send some messages in here. So I send a message in. The only thing that I notice is changing is that I see this little 1 here to indicate there is one item in this queue, but nothing has come out of this debug node because nothing has been released from this queue. So let's queue up a few more messages. Let's queue up 3. And now I want to release one of those messages to move on in this flow. And so the command that I use is I need to send a message.trigger to this flow. It's a very key word here, this message.trigger. If it sees that, it will release one of the items. So now I've gone from 3 down to 2. And here is that first item. You can see, let's take a look at this timestamp for a moment here. Let's send another one. So we've gone from 2 down to 1. And we have another item here. And now let's send it again. And we're down to 0. Try to send it again. There's nothing in here, so it doesn't give us anything else. And if we were to look at these timestamps, we would see that the earliest one, the first one we put in there, is the first one out. Second one we put in there is the second one out. Third is the third one out. Let's do a couple more things. Let's add some items to our queue. We'll put in 3 again. And this time we won't trigger them. We're going to send a message.reset. What this does is it will clear the queue. So I click and it goes from 3 to 0 and nothing has been released. The queue has simply been cleared. And the last thing I'll show is a setting that we're going to use in the lab is this bypass first message. So I'll check that off. I will clear the debug log. And now I'm going to send a message in and watch what happens. Oh, sorry, I forgot to deploy. So let's try that again. Let's reset. Let's deploy our changes. So it's recognizing this bypass first message. And now let's send that message in again. And notice that when I sent this in, it didn't get queued up. It got sent right away on our flow. So if I send additional messages, those will be queued. It just takes this first message and sends it along right away. And then after that, it works like normal. I'll trigger, I'll get the second and third and fourth, but this first message came right away. And we're going to use that in our sprinkler system because we essentially don't want to hold up our very first message. We want to send that one along right away, and then once that first message is done, then we want to come back and release additional items from the queue. So I hope that helps make sense of this queue object. We're going to use it in the lab coming up.